Hello and welcome to Croke Park. We had 3 provincial titles up for grabs over the weekend, with Mayo, Monaghan and Kerry taking the honours. Here to talk about those games are Brendan Devenney, Eircom Ambassador, and Frank Roche of the Herald. Brendan, I'm going to start with you. Donegal, Monaghan, no one expected that. Nobody predicted it, you included. How surprised were you?
I wasn't that surprised, to be honest. I suppose when it's coming to a lot of them games, you know, there's very little between them. There was a point in it yesterday. I slightly fancied Donegal, but you know, Monaghan were full value for the victory. It wasn't that pretty, as we see. You know, I think if you took somebody from 10 years ago and showed them a video of that, they'd be like, "Lord, jeez, what's going on with our game?" You know, but it's intriguing. I think we've got used to the defensive style of play. You know, there's a lot at stake, so it makes it very interesting. You know, but it was poor football, and it comes down to a point game, so it's exciting. And there was obviously a bit of dilemma about the debate about the last point, whether it was over in the bar net. But I thought Monaghan were full value for their victory.
Frank, after the game, the Monaghan fans were shouting, "We want Sam." Do you think that they'll be better equipped this time round after winning Ulster to push on, because they didn't really capitalise on winning 2 years ago?
I still have a slight question mark over whether they have enough up front to go the distance. I mean, again, what they scored yesterday wasn't a huge tally. It was a different type of game than they'll encounter in Croke Park, but they will need more than just Conor McManus firing, because you can be sure when it comes to the quarter-final stage, if, for example, they're playing Tyrone, you know, he's going to be double marked, possibly treble teamed even out there. And if Conor McManus is held, you're wondering where the other score is going to come from.
Brendan, I'm looking for an unbiased answer now. Was it a point? Was it not a point?
Do you know something? I couldn't tell. I would have to say it wasn't. You know, I'd have to give the umpires and even the referee. When you think about it, with the referee's position there, he's probably in the best position to see that. He could have called it if it was. So,
Frank, Kerry Cork, it was never really going to live up to the previous week anyway. The talk going into the game was, you know, it was going to come down to who learned more. Where do you think that Kerry really improved on in the game?
Well, several areas. I mean, Eamon Fitzmaurice made several changes in his defence. They seemed to work. I think the big thing is that he got the midfield diamond correct. Like, people almost forgot that David Moran was black carded in the drawn match, and it was after he went off the pitch that Alan O'Connor's influence grew and grew in that game. David Moran was back for the full 70 on Saturday night. That was a big plus. Anthony Maher's job seemed to be basically to nullify Alan O'Connor to a large extent. And apart from having a more solidified midfield, I think it freed Brian Sheehan to go into the half-forward line, where I think he's a greater influence.
Frank, Kerry have options, definitely. They brought on the Gooch, they took off Donaghy. Do you think Kerry are a better team with Donaghy in or without, or what do you think it suits them better?
It was almost a tactical shift. When Donaghy went off, Kerry had to play a different way. I would just love to see Cooper on the pitch all the time. I don't think that necessarily means that himself and Donaghy can't be on the pitch at the same time. But I think Kerry are a more different proposition. There's more variety to their game, and we saw that with the goal. It was an absolutely piece of genius, the pass by Gooch with his weaker right foot. But it also required a lung-busting run from Donegal Walsh. He ran something like 50 or 60 yards at full pelt to give him the option.
Frank, you were in Hyde Park yesterday, and someone that really stood out was Aidan O'Shea. He got 3-4 from play. Now, David O'Malley shouted for him. He said that Aidan is a complete player, good in the air, close ball control, and a powerful runner with the ball. Can you just tell us what he was like, just from being there?
It was a staggering performance. I mean, I give 10 out of 10 ratings once a decade, I'd say. And I gave one yesterday. Now, having said that, there is a huge caveat. And Sligo were so naive, so wide open in the back. It was unreal. It was like watching a Connaught and Munster final with a group of 12-year-olds playing a group of 7-year-olds. It was like that. But having said that, O'Shea was a human wrecking ball. Cork,
6-day turnaround to play Kildare. How are they going to pick themselves up after losing to Kerry?
Well, I think probably judging by, you know, they did probably put a bit of pride back in themselves. They were well written off before the Kerry game. Should have beaten them in the first game. And I think they probably in their heart of hearts, and everybody thought they were going to lose their replay, because, you know, when a lesser team has their chance, it's on the first day, particularly when the game was back in Killarney then. So I think, you know, Brian Cuthbert's probably going to take, you know, whatever positives he can out of it. I just think Kildare have been a very so-so season. You know, Jason Ryan, I don't know where they're going. I just don't think Kildare are in a bad place at the moment. I expect Cork to win that game.
Who do you think is going to be going to have more of an advantage going in? Fermanagh, who've got to run in the qualifiers, or Westmeath, who put in a good first half performance against Dublin?
Yeah, well, see, often with a beaten provincial finalist, it depends on how they exit the championship. And you might look at it and say Westmeath lost by a double-digit margin. I think it was 13 points at Dublin. But if the situation is handled correctly by Tom Cribben over the last week and the next week coming, Westmeath should be able to approach this in a relatively positive frame of mind. Fermanagh beat them 2 years ago in the qualifiers, and the other big issue Westmeath have is injuries. It seems like John Heslin is definitely out this weekend. It's obviously a huge loss. Fermanagh,
for me, I've seen them play quite a few times. Like they're written off really every game they've been in. They probably snatched a victory from the jaws of defeat against Roscommon. And you know, you have to admire, like Pete McGrath's went in there, nobody fancied him, and he certainly made a job of him. That's a real 50-50 game, but I'm going to go with Fermanagh.
So if you think that you can do better than our ambassadors at predicting games, and if you'd like to win some tickets, go onto the Eircom GAA website and join their win, lose or draw leagues. And of course Brendan's would be a good one to join. He's currently 42nd in his league, so it'll be easy enough to topple him. Now Brendan, as you know, we've got a very hard GAA quiz coming your way. Your colleagues, your Eircom colleagues, Tomás O'Shea and Ciarán Whelan failed to get all their questions right, and they had to do a challenge. And we're expecting to see a video of Ciarán Whelan on in a Meath jersey doing the crossbar challenge very soon. Now the same rules apply for you. We have a challenge, and that is that you have to take a spoon of cinnamon if you do not get your 3 questions right. Okay, first question. I'm going to give you 3 options for answers. How many All-Stars has Colm Cooper won? A5, B6 or C8?
I'm thinking 8, I'm going to go 6.
Okay. Who was the top scorer in the 2012 championship? A. Dermot Connolly, B. Colm McFadden or C. Colm Cooper?
My homeboy Colm McFadden.
What year did the GAA allow sponsorship on the jersey? A. 1989, B. 1991 or C. 1993?
91.
Okay.
And the first team to wear numbers in their back were Donegal hurlers out here in 1927. How's that for a fact?
That's a good one.
They told me that the last time I was here.
Well, you have good information, but unfortunately you didn't get all your questions right. You got
I didn't or even I got them right.
You got the Colm Cooper question wrong. He's won 8 All-Stars. So that's it. My thanks to Frank and to Brendan, and we will be back next week because we have a couple of qualifier games at the weekend and we'll be looking ahead to the All-Ireland quarter-finals, so join us then.
Nice.